to Information Paradise. We have again the wonderful Tarun Pradhaan. Welcome, Tarun.
Thank you very much, and it is my pleasure to join this conversation again.
Today we're going to do a little different formats where we have Tarun's self-created, as everything is, non-dual joke there, app for self-inquiry. He's created this app where you can ask any question, any spiritual question. Click the first question. Please give me some practice to remember who I am, said someone.
Yes, so it is very interesting question, and people keep asking me what practice should I do to know myself. And because I am on the path of knowledge, I do not prescribe any practice actually, or you can say the only practice is to become aware of your nature, of your nature again and again and again. That is the only practice. That practice will also do the purification for you. It is two in one. To remain in your true nature is the only practice here on the path of knowledge. And now the thing is how to remain in the true nature.
Yeah.
And there is a very straightforward way. Do not identify with anything else except your true nature. Once you are introduced to your true nature, once you know who you are, then you will need to again and again go back to that knowing. As soon as the mind slips and says that I am the body, or I am some organ in the body, or I am some memories, or I am some profession, or something like this, you will need to discard the thought and remind yourself that no, I am not all these things. These are tendencies of the mind, these are activities of the mind, and let them continue in the light of awareness. This is called shining the light of awareness on all the activities of your life. You need not sit down and meditate. It is recommended only for beginners, but those who are doing it since many years or months, they need not sit down. The present moment is enough to remind yourself. You do not need specific practice. So usually that's the only practice I prescribe, that become aware of your true nature and remind yourself again and again. Remembrance. Now, remembrance is not the memory of what I was. It is not a recall of what is my nature, like told by some guru or some written in some book. You should go back to that which is present now. You should go back to your essential nature, that which is present now, here. Take a turn inwards, and then that will be a kind of remembrance. It does not take time, and it does not take any effort.
I was thinking, like, when our awareness grows, we become aware of more of our mind and also our relationship with the body and stuff. So I think on the path, as we go like this with awareness, it can be, mind stuff can become more fascinating and so easier to identify with. So that's just a little public service announcement for the spiritual community to watch out for that.
Yeah.
Let's blaze through them. It's fun. What is enlightenment? Is it possible to attain simple person like me? Is it possible to become enlightened, a simple person like me? Like, already there's an identification with a simple person. How much time will it take? And there's already a assumption of time. being non. I think of time as like a full stop, instead of a number line. So, what is enlightenment, and is it possible for a simple person like me? How much time it would take?
It is kind of a muddy word, and I do not use that word a lot. So, light means the light of consciousness, and enlighten means to lighten and the uh, lamp of consciousness within you, which also means to become aware of our true nature. That's all it is. It is not more than that, and it is not less than that. And how much time it should take? It takes probably a second to know what I am. As soon as it is pointed out that look, all the phenomena, all the experiences are something which you are witnessing, and you are the witness. You are the conscious witness of those passing experiences. It is done. You are enlightened.
Yeah.
Now there is a problem here that this knowledge will slip from the mind. The mind has a tendency to return to its previous ignorance, previous darkness. That means it will do whatever it was doing before knowing this. Knowing this, the body will continue to do whatever they were doing, because these things are mechanical in nature. They are just a bundle of conditioning. That's all, body and mind. So people wonder after knowing their true nature why nothing has happened. And don't worry, nothing needs to happen. Nothing needs to happen. You don't need to do something to become enlightened. You simply become real. You simply need to realize that this is my true nature, the pure consciousness that is witnessing everything, all these illusory phenomena is my true nature. That turns on the light of awareness in the mind, and this awareness will do everything else. First of all, when you become enlightened, you will find that there is no person also. There are like side effects of enlightenment. There are implications of enlightenment. Because if you are this witnessing consciousness that there is no person, I am not a person, then you will find that who is the person? Where is the person? You will find that that is only an imaginary concept. So when you try to describe what is a person, you will come up with ideas after ideas after ideas that point to one or the other experience that you are having. The ideas of personhood never points to this, which is witnessing those ideas. So that is one of the side effects of knowing your true nature, that the person drops away. The identity or the ego is killed. It is seen as not being there. And the second side effect is the experiences are seen as illusory. They are seen as creation of the mind, where mind itself is illusory. So they are impermanent expressions of consciousness, all the experiences. And when this kind of knowledge is firmly established in the mind, we can say that the process of enlightenment is complete. So it is kind of paradoxical that it takes a second to realize who am I, but it can take a lifetime to settle in this knowledge. This is confusing for many people. They say, I know what I am, but nothing is happening. Don't worry, whatever is happening is already perfect. Nothing needs to happen after this. The seeking should end here. And that is why our practice is to bring this memory, to bring this knowledge again and again and again on the screen of consciousness, what I am. Remember it again and again and again. And this will do the purification. This will do any changes in the personality, which is illusory. It will do any changes in the body, which is also illusory. And it will liberate the mind from bondage also. So this is enlightenment in short, and this is the paradox of time. It is the only thing that does not take time, but its kind of vibrations, its repercussions, they extend to many, many lifetimes. It is going to liberate you ultimately. So don't worry, just don't worry about the meanings of the word. Like somebody say, look, this is enlightenment. And somebody else will come and say, no, 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 that is not enlightenment. That is only one stage of enlightenment. There is more. So don't worry about these things. The final stage is knowing your true nature. Knowing your essence is the final stage of enlightenment. There is nothing to be achieved after that. Nothing at all.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, I have this light here, and I think most people, what they want is kind of like this. So they want like off, and they think something's gonna go, and they're gonna go boom, like that. But oftentimes, sometimes it is like that with the case of Eckhart Tolle and many others, where something either extraordinary happens or, extreme pain or something. But usually it's like a dimmer switch. And I found this with myself. I kind of check my level of awareness and connectedness with awareness, and it has changed, but I have not really noticed. It hasn't been like that. So for the person who asked this, I would say be patient, and patience is a virtue. So, and I'm intuiting that this person would be feeling frustration because time, I need it now. Get connected in the now, and then you shall have it. So, what do you think about that, Tarun?
No, whatever you are describing is cultivation of the mind. It is not enlightenment. Enlightenment, just like I said, is the knowledge that I am the pure consciousness. I am the universal consciousness. That's all it is. Whatever you're describing, like remaining steady in adverse conditions, like remaining steady in painful conditions, or in situations where normally people behave like stupid, and containment, not wanting anything, end of all desires. What are all these things? These goals are sub-goals. They are obviously spiritual goals. There is nothing wrong in that. But enlightenment is the start of this kind of cultivation. They are not final goals. So this comes under cultivation of the mind, or we also call it purification of the mind. So what kind of mind can remain steady under painful conditions or suffering? The mind that is enlightened, the mind that is in which the light of awareness is shining. That means your actions are not being controlled by conditioning. That means your actions are not being controlled by these impulses of fear or anger or lust or anything, you see, jealousy, competition, hatred, or even the good qualities, good emotions that are in our minds. They are not being controlled by these tendencies of the mind. So, who is a steady person? The one who is established in awareness, you see. And that comes with practice. Slowly giving up the activities of the mind that are habitual. How can you give up something which is habitual? By pausing and not acting. That is the only way. How can you achieve the pause? If there is no awareness, it will happen in a mechanical fashion, like a robot. The mind says and body does, body speaks. It will, you can achieve that pause, but only by invoking awareness. So again, that is the only practice there. That awareness will give you a second of pause. Only a second is enough, and that brings into awareness the actions that are going to happen now. Suppose there is pain and I'm about to react very badly to the pain, like it magnifies the pain 1,000 times when we react to the pain. The actual pain is nothing but signals from the body. Yes, they are pleasant, but that is the price we pay for having a body. So it is okay, and to reaction to that pain, I don't want this, or I want pleasure, or why this is happening to me, self-pity, or the anger, the person who is responsible for my pain. You see, all these things are mental activities. They are happening in dark because you do not know who you are. You think the thing that is reacting is me. Very simple, but it is also ignorance. So you see, once you know your true nature, what is the excuse for you to be that mechanical robotic activity? What is the excuse? Once you are doing this practice of remembering who you are, like bringing the awareness again and again and again, non-stop, then where is your excuse to act in a stupid way? Where is your excuse to let the mind do what it was doing habitually under darkness, under ignorance? There is no excuse now. So those who are trying these things, my advice is that first try awareness. Do not try these to achieve something in the outside world, or do not try to train the mind without becoming aware of what the mind is doing. Just like you said, you see, that it is very natural to become fascinated by the activities of the mind after you become enlightened, because now you can see the mind. The first time in your life, you will see the mind as an object separate from you. Right now, they are one, but after enlightenment, here is the mind and here is you. You can finally see what was driving this body and mind. It is your tendencies. So once this happens, it is very natural to become interested in what is mind. Start studying the mind. If you want to control the mind, you should start studying the mind, and that is, the path of knowledge. Now you are on the path of knowledge. Or you can take a shortcut, like if you don't want to study what is mind, you can simply start the energetic practices that purify the mind. That is another path, but it's also a valid path. Or you can go on the path of action and try to purify your actions. When you purify the actions, the mind is purified. It is kind of two-way thing. It is connected to each other. The actions are connected to mind, and mind is connected to actions. So as soon as you start purifying your actions, the circuitry in the mind, the conditioning of the mind, it starts changing itself. And how can you do the proper action? If you're not aware, you cannot do a proper right action. It all stems from awareness. The root is awareness. What is awareness? The knowledge of who am I. That is awareness. So even though it looks like a mental activity, just like you said, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. Don't worry. When it is off, you are still consciousness. When the awareness is on, you are obviously consciousness. When it is off, don't worry about it. As soon as it is remembered, just take it from there. Just pick it from there. Just like we walk and sometimes we fall, Do we start crying that, oh, I fall so many times? No, we just get up and start walking again. You see, there is no benefit in fixing the off periods of awareness. There is no benefit in that. If your actions happen in darkness, even though you are enlightened, that only means that you are learning to walk. You're falling again and again, but you are learning to walk in awareness. So let it happen. Once the awareness comes back, you will see what happened. You will see what actions were taken in darkness. And the good thing is that this will not happen again. Once you're burnt, you are kind of very
Cautious
hesitant.
fire.
Yes, to touch something hot. Same thing. Once you do something stupid in darkness, when the light of awareness was not there, and the light comes on again, then you will be very, very aware next time. See, this is how Mother Nature teaches us. This is how the natural training of the mind happens. And the thing is, if you are kind of an active student, if you are a very active seeker, you can speed it up through practices. You can speed it up through many, many practices. There are probably thousands of practices and hundreds of traditions there. Pick any of them. Those who are on the direct path, they pick the direct one, which is awareness. Pick the awareness, like make it you like you're breathing right now. Make it into a breathing. Yes, it will slip sometimes because the ego is very strong. Sometimes the survival demands that you put your awareness to the side. It's kind of useless for survival. So let the actions happen. It's okay. It's fine. All actions are learning actions. All actions teach us something. So the only thing is, if the actions happen in awareness, they are more effective. They are they produce less suffering, and they are good for others also. You will find this, that the others will start changing their behavior towards you if you start acting in awareness. You don't need to change them. It is impossible to change people. You can change only this one, this thing which you call yourself. It's a mind body organism. Change this. It can be done using awareness. And once this start changing, you will find the circumstances will improve. You will find that the situations will improve around you. You will find that the evil people, the bad people, the ignorant people will leave you. The good people, the more aware and spiritual people will surround you. So this fixes everything. Fix this one and you will fix everything. Do not worry that I'm not steady. Do not worry that I get affected by tiny things. Do not worry that people push my buttons and I start dancing. These things will happen. Enlightenment is not magic, kind of. You see? It's not magic. It's not going to fix your life.
It's amazing that one is becoming aware of these faults, For example, because this person probably wasn't aware of how they get so annoyed at these minor things, but now you are, and so that's better than the not being aware. So, next question: is it possible to not suffer emotionally? Is that possible?
Nothing is impossible, you see. Nothing is impossible. Now, once you have mastered your mind, the emotional suffering should be kind of a matter of day. In one day, you can get rid of the emotional suffering. How to do that? Probably I wrote an answer, but I don't remember now. But
you did.
Let me see.
You wrote.
Yeah. I don't have ready-made answers or anything. You see, when the question arrives, I bring in my experience and then I start making the answer. So probably this time the answer will be a little different. No problem. How to do that? How to become emotionally independent, sort of, like not to be affected by emotions. The first thing is awareness, obviously.
Always.
Whenever, yes, whenever there is attack of emotions, because they attack you, like, they come in impulses, you need to become aware, oh, this is happening. Now, I can understand that we cannot stop things like floods or intense heat or cold. We cannot stop seasons. We cannot stop rivers, and we cannot stop the forest fire and these things. You see, these things are external. They are not in our control. But emotion is something which happens within me. Now, what is your excuse? When you see the emotion, then what is your excuse that I won't stop it? I won't stop acting on it. What excuse will remain there? It is totally in our control. So once this seed is there, that I can see the emotion as an experience apart from me, when the seed knowledge is there, then there is no excuse there. You cannot postpone this enlightened version of you. That okay, today let me become emotional and do something stupid. From tomorrow, I'm going to behave like an enlightened person. This is impossible, isn't it? It will happen today. If you have encountered your mind today, it will start improving from today. So first thing is awareness. Become aware of what is happening in the mind. It is not you, it is the mind. And emotions are very, very primitive activities of the mind. You see, just above the pleasure and pain layer. So what is pleasure and pain layer, and all those layers? Start collecting the knowledge, start gaining the knowledge of the mind. It is totally absent from your society. Remember this. Your society is in darkness. Your society is totally ignorant of mind.
It's
They think
crazy
mind.
living here, dude. You don't
Yeah.
know, man. You don't know this, man. I'm in the ghetto. It's not too bad, but yeah, no.
You think you're modern. You think it is the age of information and science. No, it is
No, man.
dark. Everything is dark there, out there in the society. When you do not know who you are, then how are you supposed to know anything else? So remember, you will never find knowledge out there. It is here in within you. So there are fortunately many teachers who will introduce you to your own mind. You won't find this knowledge in schools, colleges. Even if you do PhD, you are not going to encounter this thing.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah, nobody will tell you that you are not the emotions. All the you'll find people saying, "Oh, I'm angry. Oh, I'm fearful. Oh, I'm in love." No, these are just mental activities. They are mechanical activities of the mind. You are not that. You are
Trillions,
witnessing.
trillions are being made from our unableness to control our emotions, right? Like,
Right.
so
So
yeah,
suffering is a result of ignorance of not knowing the mind. So those who do not know their mind, do not take this trouble of exploring their own mind, which is the nearest thing to them, they deserve to suffer.
yeah,
Even though I don't
It's
wish them to suffer, and I
it's
don't
just
mean,
it's mathematical, isn't it? Like suffering plus non-knowing of it equals suffering. You know?
yes, yes. Like Buddha said, like he said about the anger, that anger is like holding the coal, burning coal in your hand and thinking why it is burning. And drop the drop the coal,
Yeah.
drop the burning coal. Why are you
So
holding it in your hand? You see?
yeah.
So when I say this may sound kind of very harsh,
Mm.
but they deserve suffering. Why didn't you take this opportunity of this human life to know who you are? Why are you wasting it in some stupid activities there? I mean, how long will it take to know what you are and what the mind is? It's not going to take long. Then you can, spend your life in enjoying whatever you enjoy, whatever stuff you enjoy. But people don't do this, and they say, I'm suffering emotionally. No, no, no. It's not possible to suffer emotionally, or it's not possible to suffer intellectually or anything. Suffering is an impossibility. It is something which you have taken yourself. You're punishing yourself, and that is by remaining ignorant of who you are. People are telling you, but you don't listen. There are books, thousands of books out there which tell you, you don't read them. You read some kind of crap there, you watch some kind of crap on the TV, and when the emotions attack, you say, oh, it's burning me, it's causing me something. Well, it is, perfect. It is a perfect thing that should happen to ignorant people. And that is why you will find those who suffer, they turn into a spiritual seeker. Those who do not suffer, whose lives are artificially held at a certain level of pleasure, they never become spiritual. They never come to know who they are. So don't worry, suffering is your teacher then.
Yeah.
Even
Like,
I myself came on the spiritual path through suffering only. Emotional suffering was one major component. So don't think that I am saying that people should suffer. It should be taken as a like alarm bell.
yeah.
Finally, there is emotional suffering. Now finally do something about it.
Yeah.
Finally learn that it is
Become aware.
impossible.
Yeah. Like, there is nothing that is not the face of God, which is why it seems so invisible. Because all it is, like this. This has remnants of earwax on it, yet it is still God. You see? I like looking at. I walk past piles of dog shit. I'm just like, I could zoom into that forever and ever. There's infinity imbued in that. So,
Yes, so, it is not an ugly thing. You see, suffering is also telling you something. It is, it is wake up call. You can say, wake up now, and you will find that suffering was an illusion. There was no suffering. Not only the knowledge of your true nature will eliminate the current suffering and future suffering, it will clear all the past suffering, because you will see that that which suffered, that which reacted to situations and things emotionally, was not you. You are always blissful. If you clean up this activity of the mind, it's totally meaningless, you see. Then what remains? Only bliss remains. Peaceful existence remains. Without this drama of the mind, is there any suffering? No, there is no suffering. Similarly, the suffering of the body is aging, body is aching and paining and degrading, decaying. People think, I'm the one who is suffering. No, it is the body. It is the nature of the body to decay, to take birth and to die. You are not that body. Now, in absence of this knowledge, obviously the suffering is mine. Once you see that body is not me, whole of it is discarded. Even the past suffering is gone. It was suffering of the body. And this suffering is actually natural activity of the body. It is doing whatever the bodies do. You don't need to involve yourself in the body. Now, that does not mean that we should not take care of the body. That is stupidity, isn't it? I'm not the body, so I'll let the body rot in gutter. No,
either
that's
way, it
not.
doesn't matter. Either way.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It should not matter, but because you want to make use of the body, you want to make the body as a learning opportunity. You want to turn your human life in this naked monkey form into a learning opportunity. You want to maintain this one. This is a very useful thing. You see,
that
without the
naked
body, I
monkey.
wouldn't know who am I.
hmm
It was not possible.
The naked monkey comments there. I've been reading The Naked Ape trilogy
Very
by Desmond Morris. Do you see how I just manifested this out of nowhere? Yeah.
It's coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, my point is learning about the human body as an object has given me personally a lot of freedom, because I am in control of this thing that I'm reading about here, just as any other animal, and I think that's a great thing for many people to do. Read about the human as if it is any other animal, because yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point, you see. Once you know you are not the body, then the body need not be discarded. You can study the body, just like you said. Study it just like you study anything else. And then you can control it, not before. Do not make this your goal to, have a immortal body or a youthful body or a beautiful body. This is BS.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, you see. And even if it happens, you will get bored of this naked monkey. How long can you carry this thing?
Dude, 2 arms sucks.
Yes.
In
Imagine
5.
if the monkeys in the past decided that I want to keep this body.
Yeah.
Would they evolve into human beings? No.
Yeah,
You
that's
see,
amazing.
there is evolution happening, the evolution of the mind, and it takes on forms. So it's better that you know this form and discard it after knowing. Take on some other form if you wish, or remain formless, which is my real nature, which is my true nature. I am formless. Forms are there for some reason, and if they are impermanent, that should not cause suffering. Let the form come and go. Let the form appear and disappear. It is not you. Why are you worried? While it is there, while it lasts, enjoy it and turn it into a learning opportunity. That is what a seeker has done. Once you know you are not the body, then what excuse is there to not to maintain it, to not to abuse it, and not to turn it into vehicle of experience? There is no excuse then. So the suffering is, you can see that it is kind of mental only. It is all in the mind.
Yeah. Let it sink in. How to stay afloat when the physical 3D reality is distressing and the life that's being lived is ambiguous and full of unknowns.
You should first ask, why is it ambiguous and full of unknowns? Why is it?
The light is not on.
See, the answer is in one line. It is not unknown. It is not ambiguous. Why do you assume these things?
How can
And
they
from,
say it if they don't know it?
yeah, like
So.
I'm going to put on my, preaching hat again. Like,
Yeah.
what is preventing you from knowing? What is preventing you from removing the ambiguity there? Nothing, isn't it? So get to the work then. Start seeking now. You will find it's not an unknown. It can be known. Then it is, and it's not a hidden knowledge. Like, it is open out there. Everybody, is eager to teach you. The great people, the great gurus are here on this planet. They will teach you. The first thing is laziness. You see, do not assume things. start searching things.
I think
Probably,
I think there's like this sort of thing where it's like, because they weren't taught any of this when, and so wasn't I when I grew up. So I think it's like I think it's like a frustration of not knowing. It's like I should know this. Somehow I've been like deprived of it. It's been yeah. So
yeah,
I'm passionate.
This will happen to a genuine seeker, you see. They cannot be stopped. They do not make excuses. They do not assume things. It is painful to not know, really. It is kind of very frustrating to not know. And where do people try to find knowledge? In books, in society, in the schools, in colleges, under authorities. And unfortunately, all these avenues, they lead to darkness. They do not know.
Yeah.
So become a seeker. Now, once you know that I do not know, what is stopping you from becoming a seeker? Once you know that there is absence of knowledge in human communities, what is stopping you to leave them and go to somebody who claims to know? You see, go to that person. And the first part of the question was that how to remain afloat among distractions.
Yeah. Physical
Yeah.
3D. Yeah.
Physical 3D. Now, another assumption here that this is physical, and this is 3D, and I am here. This comes from the ignorance that I am a physical thing which gets distracted and lives in a physical universe. Why did you assume that? What is your direct experience here? Is there a physical universe, or is it mind created? Or are you a physical thing, or are you a non-physical experiencer of the physical things? So once this basic knowledge is here, once this essential knowledge is here, these assumptions will be dropped, and you will find that which is sinking. You see, they have used the word afloat. That which is sinking is this mind, this ignorant mind that is drowning in its own ignorance.
Only an ape can sink, right? Only like the mind can't sink and awareness can't sink. They're imagining this like in water, but that is not all that you are. That is not the limit.
That's right. This thing can sink because it is kind of covered in ignorance. It's heavy. It's like loaded with stones. So obviously it will sink. You are the one who is always floating, you see. You are the one in which this drama of sinking is happening on this screen of consciousness. So let go of that which is sinking. don't even think about it, and you will start floating again. Once you know your true nature, well, it cannot sink. And distractions, well, that which is distracted is again this thing. You are never distracted. You allow the distractions as nicely as attractions. You are unconditionally allowing things. That which has preferences says that I want one thing, I don't want the other thing. And this is natural. There is nothing wrong in that. You cannot say that I don't want to be distracted. It is kind of impossible. As long as you have preferences in the mind, there will be this kind of attraction and distraction and deviations. The mind likes to do that. If you turn on the light of awareness, then you will find that it starts behaving in a much better way, but probably you won't be able to eliminate it totally. So realistic goals, lack of, drop your assumptions, have realistic goals. How far can you take the mind? There are limits to the mind. It cannot be taken to that kind of perfection that you are assuming that I should remain afloat no matter what. This is not the nature of the mind. The nature of the mind is clinging. The nature of the mind is aversion or attraction or these things. You need to watch this mind. As soon as it starts doing something really, really stupid, you intervene. Otherwise, you let it do whatever it is doing. Let that distraction happen in full awareness.
Yeah, become aware of the
It's-
sinking,
Yeah.
and the
And when there
emotion.
is awareness, you will find that distraction has no energy in it. It cannot distract you now.
Let's use the metaphor of the screen here. We can do it very well because the viewers are viewing a screen here, and so the screen, you see much content on the screen. Like let's say this was anger. This is anger. This is lust, and but all is appearing on the same screen. And now, as you sit before your screen with us on it, see if you can become aware of a screen in your own experience. So imagine that's take over, Tarun. Take over.
That is a very good metaphor, you see. When you watch a movie, a lot of violence is happening, a lot of stuff is happening, car chases are happening, explosions are happening. But the screen does not get even one scratch. Why?
Yeah.
Why? And would you like to stop the movie and say, no, I want a blank movie now, just blue screen? That is not a very entertaining movie where nothing is happening.
Even if
Let the mind do what it is doing, you see. You remain untouched.
even if you're
That
watching even if you're watching a movie where this person is drowning or they're just like sat really bored, even when you're changing the movie over to something really exciting where it's a monkey getting sex and money and power, it's still the same screen. You're not changing a TV over. And also, if you change a TV over, the movie will still be on a screen. So until we get to virtual reality, augmented reality, I think that's going to have a massive effect on the anthropological, like these things gonna it's gonna be crazy. But let's not talk about that. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, I like this format. How do you like this format, Tarun? It's cool, isn't it?
Yes, very good.
What is the relationship between attention of a mind, in brackets, which is very limited, the attention of a mind, and the awareness? So what is the relationship between attention and awareness?
Probably I wrote some answer, but let me give you a new answer here. There is a very old formula, ancient formula, that says awareness follows the attention. Wherever the attention goes, awareness follows.
Okay, so let's use the screen metaphor. The cameras of the movie is like the attention, right? And they're focusing on, whatever it is, blood and guts or whatever. And yeah, so that's the attention, the camera angle of.
Yeah. See, the frame is like attention, and screen is like awareness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is the relation. Wherever there is attention, that will be in your awareness. We should differentiate here between awareness and consciousness. Awareness is limited to whatever we are attending to, but consciousness is universal and unlimited.
That's very important. I think that's very
Yeah.
important. Awesome. I'm glad I'm recording. So yeah. Okay.
So do not confuse between the universal pure consciousness, which is emptiness, nothingness, and the activity of the mind, which is attention and awareness. So you can take it in 3 steps. Like first, you sharpen your attention. Second, you turn on the awareness. And third, you know yourself as consciousness, as this empty background, the screen. So even if the screen is big, you can, pay attention to a small part of the screen, attend to a specific detail on the screen. The screen is almost infinite, it is huge. So what we have done is we have taken a small, narrow set of instruments to watch a very small part of the screen. This is the whole screen. We are watching a tiny part of the screen, and we are using a set of instruments to do that, to focus our attention, and that set of instruments is called the body. So body is a limitation that we have taken on so that we can focus on a specific kind of experience which is useful for us or probably source of pleasure for us. So attention will bring you back to your experience, which is happening here and now. That is why when we do the yoga or when we do the practices, we first thing we do is focus our attention. We start by focusing the attention on something outside, then we jump it on breathing, let us say, because many people cannot go inside directly, so we take intermediate route. We take, little stops. So from the outside thing, which can be a statue or, let us say candle, flower, or your favorite god, goddess, and even a guru, a picture of a guru, you focus on that thing, sharpen your attention, do not deviate your mind, and then turn it onto breathing, let us say, which is more nearer to you. And once you have mastered the attention on breathing, turn it into internal feelings like sound in the ear, for example. Or you close your eyes and you watch the darkness and the patterns behind the eyes. That is another step. Then the final step is turn your attention totally into the mind. So once that happens, the attention will broaden and you will see it from a bigger perspective. So that is the relation between attention and awareness. The sharper attention will bring bigger awareness, and the broader attention will bring higher, broader awareness of many things. You won't remain limited to this body and mind once you master this art of attending. So somewhere on my blog, I have written that attention is the only quality that a seeker needs to cultivate. It is one of the most important, your highest priority should be our attention. Once you have the attention mastered, you can master anything. I'm even claiming that you can master the materialistic things like skills, your business, or become a good student simply by cultivating sharp attention. Because awareness will go there, and those parts of the experience will go in your memory. That will become your life. Whatever we experience becomes our life. What do we experience? That on which we pay attention. Wherever is my attention, I'm going to experience that. So attention is very, very fundamental thing. It is the most fundamental ability of the mind. We should not take it lightly. That is why the yogic practices start with attention. If you cannot sit and attend, then they will ask you to purify the body, you see. Make your body fit so that you can sit and attend to something. And unfortunately, people stop after fixing their bodies. They do not go forward. They do not take the practice of dhyana and dharana, which everybody knows. They are the 8 limbs of the yoga. So all your preparations, all the asanas and kriyas and breathing practices and stuff like that, that is designed to sharpen the attention. What is attention? It's an ability of the mind to exclude everything except one experience. It is very important ability, so that the awareness is focused on that thing, and so that it becomes an important experience for you. And you will find this in your daily life also. If you attend to, let us say, alcohol, smoking, or crime, or something, you will become like that, because all your attention is there, all your energy is flowing into that kind of thing. So we say in magical terminology that you manifest whatever you attend to. Your
Yeah.
life will become like that. So start attending to something which is more fruitful, which is a better use of this ability. And what was the question, like what is the asking really?
What is the relationship between attention of a mind, which is very limited, and the awareness?
Yes. So this is the relation. They are not one thing. They are not one thing. Awareness is something which we cannot move, but attention, we can move it. We have a little bit of wiggle room there. We can attend to things using our will, and awareness just goes there. It is like follows the attention. So
Yeah.
we can use this ability to enhance our lives.
Personal question here. Free will or determinism? What do you think? Dun, dun.
Free will, determinism, let me tell you, it is a Pandora's box.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It is a big can of worms which nobody likes to open. Nobody likes to open. So whatever I say about this topic is going to remain unsatisfactory. You will be dissatisfied with whatever comes out of my mouth. So let me tell you this thing from the beginning. There is no free will. There is nobody who wills. Not even the biggest thing which you call God or universe. It also has no will. Individual, because the individual does not exist. There is no question of having a will there. It is a kind of robot, automaton. Consciousness does not deal with willing or anything. Consciousness is very simple thing. It's most fundamental thing. It is witnessing. There are no desires or wills there. There are no impulses there. It is a witness of all the desires. So where is the will then? What am I talking about when I say we have the will to attend to something? We can will it. And there is an illusion of will. That illusion is mind created. Things happen and the mind creates an imaginary ability which it calls as willing. Like I raise my hand, which is very classical, classic example of willing. I willed it. No, the hand comes first, the perception is the next, the third is the identity. Identity gets created, that it is I who is, the identity is associated with the body. And the fourth is the concept of will, that I willed it. So it is not immediate, you see, it's not the first, it is fourth. Or you can insert many things that happen before the willed action happens. So it is far removed from reality. The concept of willing is far removed from reality.
Hello?
Hi, is that David?
Yes.
Hi, it's Tina here from Friend Centre.
Oh, hello.
Hiya, I see you booked in for tomorrow night.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I know. I don't. My colleagues made a mistake. I think I explained to you a couple of weeks ago. We don't take any bookings on a Friday night or a Monday night.
Okay.
There won't be anyone here.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Can I give you a ring tomorrow so we can rearrange it or reimburse?
Of course.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
I'm still on my hand. Somebody said it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was I booked for a seminar tomorrow, and blah 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 blah. Gonna rearrange it.
Okay.
But yeah. By the way, I don't know how to create an audience. Like, I'm just gonna have to figure it out because I haven't. To be honest, these past days I've been very lazy, so I'll figure it out. Yeah,
No problem. It will happen. It will
it will
happen.
happen.
If you keep doing it, it will happen. Like they
Exactly.
say, if you make it, they will come.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
build it, they will come. So keep building.
Yes.
Anyway, where was I? Free will is kind of very removed from reality, actually. You can see it, that it is not there. It is an assumption that is necessary for survival. If I say I'm not doing anything, I do not will anything, and suppose I do some nasty thing there, and I say no, it was not done by me, or I can say it was the will of the universe, it was the will of the God. Please don't do not punish me. Nobody's going to listen to you. Nobody likes this kind of argument. You see, it is your will. You did it. You take the responsibility of your action. So
This is
it
a
is kind of
cultural thing. This is a
it's a
cultural
cultural conditioning.
to keep
What
our tribes together.
yeah. What we see is there that you did an action, so you must have willed it. That is what I assume. And when I do an action, I assume the same thing, that I did it, I willed it. But both are illusions. The illusions are required to survive in this illusory world. Apart from that, there is no use of the will. Apart from that, it's a concept like everything else is a concept, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
mind created. So will is also a concept. So the question now remains: is it determined then? Okay, no will, but is everything determined? Now there are two branches which you can take from here. You see, after you have seen the illusion of the will, you're free from the will. You can take two branches.
Sorry. Funny.
It's like a burden that we put down. When I know cannot will, it's a big burden that is off my head now. But that is a different topic now. So let us return to the determinism. You can take two parts from here. Everything is totally fixed, like it is written in stone somewhere. And second is it is a probabilistic universe. There are probabilities of things happening. So there is a probability that I'll raise the right hand or left hand or whatever, no hand. I can decide not to raise any hand. So these are probabilistic. What we have found is that the reality behaves in both ways. That is what we have found. It is deterministic when there is a large number of variables, and it is totally probabilistic when the variables are small in number. That is what we have found. Now, people are kind of very, like, they are very hard on this thing. No, everything is willed. No, everything is God's will. And there is other like camp there which attacks them. No, everything is fully determined. This equation will determine whatever you are going to do. And if I know all the variables, I can predict very precisely what the person or the animal is going to do, what your mind is going to do. And the both are wrong. And there is third term, which is kind of small number, not many people know this, that reality is ultimately probabilistic. So you can say that it is a mixture of two. It is some of it is totally determined, and then it falls off to probabilistic only. So and there is another twist to it, that there is no time, which is kind of, we can establish it very firmly, that there is no time. So what is going to happen is kind of our imagination. It cannot be willed. and it cannot be predicted, and it is not probabilistic because nothing happens in future. Nothing happens in future. So what remains then? This timeless sea of potentiality. I'll repeat this word. It's kind of difficult to grasp. What remains when you remove all these concepts and stupid assumptions from your mind? What remains? A timeless, like it's eternal, zero time, like you said, uh, sea of potentiality, out of which some things appear as if they are determined. Some things we cannot find out, they are unknown, some things never happen, and some a fraction which we assume are willed by the organisms like this. It is very simple actually. The reality is very simple. It is just infinite potentiality. It can produce anything actually. It can produce anything. But because the mind is kind of tangled in laws, there are laws of the mind, some things are always determined because it is a pattern that continues, like day and night and seasons and the gears of the machine. So some things are highly predictable, and we say they're determined almost, but no, they are also potentialities. They are also probabilities. Tomorrow the sun may decide not to come. It is
Yeah,
possible,
it's like
go up into pieces.
millions of years of evolution, for example, like people say it's determined that I'm gonna give birth to a baby with 2 nipples. Now, you see, yes,
So it is ultimately it is unknowable what it is, because when I say potentiality, it can be anything. It can be anything. Next second, I can turn into a green dinosaur. It is possible. But
that's
is it likely? No, it is not likely. It is highly improbable, although the full potential is there. And our view of the time is linear because our lifetime is very small, you see. Take the life of the entire universe, the lifetime is very small. We do not see the entirety of it. Just like we stand on the ground, we see the ground is flat. We do not see the curvature of the earth. So we do not see the entire possibilities that are happening. We do not see even the deterministic things completely. Our view is very, very narrow. And so we assume that, things are way in which I think they are. And this is stupidity, isn't it? And then we assume over and above that there is me, there is a person who is willing, a magical ability. You see, I don't know what is willing. You cannot find a willing there. You find only awareness there of what is willed, isn't it? Do you find a process of willing? No. You find that there is an awareness that appears of that which is willed. How did that thing appear there? Well, nobody knows this thing. And some people may say, oh, these and that memories, they caused it, the law of karma and scars and impressions. And some will say, well, it is in the brain, you see, and things like that. But nobody really knows these things. So just like I said, the answer is not going to be satisfactory because our experience is so tiny, so narrow. We cannot find out what is happening. We cannot find it out. Then some people will go to this, let's say, step, and they discard that anything, and they even deny that anything is happening. Because you see, if you remove the mind, if you remove the memory, then probably nothing is happening. There is no experience, which is the fundamental, now the essence of reality, where nothing is happening. It is infinite potential. It is not a happening. Nothing real is happening here. Potential appears for a time being and then disappears. And it takes on a form which gives us an impression of permanence, but it's not permanent. So in essence, nothing is really happening in this potentiality, sea of potentiality, which is timeless, dimensionless. Nothing is there. It is shunyata. It is emptiness. So what can happen in emptiness? Nothing. So what is determined? Nothing. What is predictable? Nothing. Can something be willed? Nothing can be willed. So you see, the mind will not accept these answers. And so I stay away from this question as far as possible. I do not even touch it with a long pole, you see, because nobody likes the answers. Nobody likes it.
I think it's quite good to touch it though, because like when people see that they have an emotional reaction or their mind can't accept it, I think that's quite cool. You know, so
Okay, it's okay. You don't need to know. If you think that you are willing, okay, go ahead. Be my guest. Will something good. Do something good. You see? That is what we want in the end. Do we want to know what is this thing that is, appearing here? Even if we want, we won't know. So go with your delusion of free will and freely will something good.
people say willpower, don't they? My power of will. Interesting. I'm not sure where I stand on that, to be honest. You know, but yeah.
Well, my opinion is that if you have a will, then use it. There is power in it. If you can delude your mind so much so that you assume that you are willing, you can delude it, you can reprogram it to use the power of the will also, and it will produce the effects. You see, it is imaginary, isn't it? The magic word comes from imagination. So, since it is all mind produced, you can use the will as a tool to change your experiences, to bring new experiences, to improve your current experience. You can use the poison to kill the poison. You can do that. But that is, totally different topic. People will say that you are saying there is no will, and then in the other interviews you said the the beginning of the magic is willpower, isn't it? If you cannot will, you cannot do magic. Now, how to make sense of this contradictory statement, which one person is saying, this is one mouth saying two different things. It is possible to do that. In the illusion, you can use the tools of the illusion. It is possible. The illusion has some use. It is not totally useless. But to think that will is real and to become slave of the will.
Okay.
To know that it is unreal, and then you can use it. You can enslave the will. It is possible.
Yeah. You can control the will, the
Yeah.
illusion of. Yeah. So I'm just thinking of.
Now, will something good. Do
Yeah.
something good. Change your willpower. Use your willpower to change your wills. In Hermetic tradition, they call it the will to will. Because a lot of magic, Western magic, comes out of Hermeticism, the ancient Egyptian philosophies. So they call it the will to will. And a magician uses the will to will. It is, you can say it, meta will, and that transforms the magician. When you transform yourself, you can transform the experience by transforming your mind. That is real magic. That is the only magic there is.
Yeah, I was thinking Kobe Bryant, the great basketball player. I'm not sure if you know, but he died in a helicopter crash, and he was a great basketball player. And for some reason, I can't remember what my point was, but like willpower, when he's just like shooting free throws every day, and like yeah. But so a mediocre basketball player, and then Kobe Bryant, the difference between their willpower is the similarity is that they both believe in the illusion of free will, but the difference is that Kobe can illude himself that he can control it. Is that right? And so then he uses that. All right. Yeah. Oh, cool.
I won't say much about this because that is not my subject. So probably I'll end up saying something wrong.
Yeah, funny. Yeah. All right. Rest in peace, Kobe. Even though, just another human, but yeah, love him. Can I use the AI to have a good connection with my higher self? My immediate response is there is nothing we are not. So I can use this earplug to have a good connection with my higher self.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a little bit of drop there, but probably somebody thought that self-inquiry app is being run by an AI. And that's why they are asking this question, can I use the AI to help in my spiritual growth? So it is partially true that the self-inquiry has a little bit of AI there. There is a little bit there. If you repeat the question again and again, it's going to send you the same answer. For example, you ask, who am I? And it's going to send you canned answer. You ask the same question again, it will send you the same answer. You need to ask something new so that it reaches the human at the end of the app. So yes, you can you can use the AI to know things because ultimately the information that is fed there is by a human. Ultimately, it is kind of somewhat automated to save a little bit of work there, repetitive work, but ultimately it is being fed by humans. And I'm not going to say that I am feeding it. No, it is not mine. It is the collective knowledge that is going into the self-inquiry app. If it is from the mouth of an AI, then who cares? The knowledge is always collective.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really get like the AI fear, but whatever. It's a valid question because
Now, look at this thing. Look at this thing. It is also an AI, isn't it?
well, your
It's all,
body.
or you can say NI, natural intelligence. This one. Same.
Yes.
It's a matter of time that the artificial word will be dropped. And I've dropped it from my vocabulary. I do not use artificial so much, except while talking to other people who do not know the meaning of artificial. So I use machine intelligence. Human intelligence and machine intelligence, ultimately they are going to merge. They are going to become one. And then your guru will be a machine one day. Are you going to discard his teachings because he is silicon, not carbon? Does it make sense? No. The self-inquiry app is seed. It has started now. It has started.
There's Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra has an app where it's just his face and like it's talking to him. I reckon you on this thing there'll be a big picture of Tarun Pradhaan and like the mouth moving, and then you talk to it. Yeah, I think that's gonna happen with a lot of spiritual teachers, and I'm very excited. Like, dude, like it's crazy. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, there is nothing that is not natural, you know.
Exactly, exactly. The word artificial is artificial actually. We should not use it. It is machine intelligence. Machines are as natural as this machine. It's it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not big. Not a big deal. Like the Ray Kurzweil says, the head of artificial intelligence in Google. He
Who?
has written this amazing book called Age of Spiritual Machines.
Okay.
When the machines will surpass human beings, and that means they will have more knowledge than humans. Are you going to say, no, I'm not going to learn from a machine because they know more? Give me some stupid human there.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's not good. So, yes, you can use any medium. Even a dumb book, dead book, is your guru. It is possible.
Let me get this. I'll show you this AI. Deepak Chopra. He was on Tonight Show with this mainstream show. It's so crazy what's happening, and everyone was like accepting of it and stuff.
Ask it a question.
Okay, yeah, ask it a question.
Hello, Digital Deepak. Hey, Jimmy.
And then,
Do with this.
but yeah, like viewers check it out, Tarun, check it out. It's amazing. So
It is happening, isn't it?
it
So
actually is, yeah.
let me tell you this. It has already happened. It has already happened in the other parts of the universe. There are systems that will give you the answers and give you the knowledge if you try to connect to them. So if you want to know more, I can refer you to Tom Campbell. Yes.
Yeah.
He will say that a guide, like when you are projecting into an alternate reality, you will find guides there, and that guides are nothing but system created image. It is an avatar created by the system, the consciousness system, and that is speaking to you in it, and it can be anything, you see. It can be a giant rabbit, for example. It can be
Yeah.
a big white rabbit. It
It's
can be an alien, or it can be Ganesh, let us say, or it can be Jesus Christ, something imaginary, something which appears, and it will teach you whatever you want to learn. So it has already happened, and humans are now picking up. They are reaching there.
yeah, that will be familiar. The previous thing you said to the users of psychedelics.
They have this kind of direct experience, you see, and the trips to the other worlds and the shamanic journeys where they'll go and meet their ancestors. These are sophisticated AIs in virtual realities. We will also do that.
That's why I really want to become rich as this human here. It's one of the reasons I want to. What do you think about that?
That is a good, noble job there. If you can use this technology to spread the knowledge, then what can be better than that? What can be
Right.
better than that?
I got
I've
my
already started my small attempt, as you can see. I've sown a seed there. Now it will grow into a tree. This thing is open source, so anybody can continue it.
Yeah, man. Yes. Gonna be insane. Because you got skill as well. There's a lot of skill, a lot of simplicity, and yeah.
Either you need skill or you need money.
But then if you have both, then
Then you are Elon Musk then.
yo, let's get him on the podcast. Hey viewers,
Yeah,
make it happen. Tweet him.
that, that will be great.
uh, yeah. Next question. I could go on for hours doing this, by the way. It's the same question, should I use AI to get universal answers? I mean, yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Is this a good... Okay. Do you know my name? Okay. Featured questions. How to see the seer?
The seer is the one that is seeing. You cannot see the seer as an object.
Okay.
You see, the experiencer is the one that experiences. It does not experience itself. That is an impossibility there. Yes, it can appear as something. Like, for example, you are appearing here on the screen. Who is that? It is also me. It is also seer.
Yeah.
So you cannot see the seer as a specific object. Either you will see it as nothingness, which is witnessing, or you will see it as everything that is being witnessed. There is no middle thing there. It is not a limited thing. It's not an object. So either everything is a seer, which is reflected in form, or nothing is the seer. Nothingness is the seeing. It is nothingness which sees. So it's not called nothingness, it's called emptiness. There is a reason that we call it emptiness and not nothingness. So the emptiness is not really empty, it is full of everything. It is a paradoxical thing which the mind cannot grasp, because mind likes to divide things, mind likes to objectify things and separate it out from other things. And then it is asking, where is the seer? Show me the seer. Show me the. You are the one. You are the one who is doing all this thing. You are the one who has taken on the role of a seer, the seeker, and the one which is seen. Everything is you. There is no difference between the seer, the seeing, and the seen. The experience, the experiencer, and the experiencing, they are one. Right now, right here, you can see there is only experiencing. There are no divisions in that experiencing. There are appearances. That's all there is.
I want people to be... I'm imagining people here listening, watching. They're in grass. They're beneath a tree. There's a stream. And they're just looking around like, wow. Just like an ape, you know. I mean, the thing is, like, all of these, it's all the same answer, isn't it, really? It's be aware. So, or not.
That's why I always say, know this one and you will know everything else.
Yeah.
Know what you are and all the answers will be answered. It always boils down to who you are.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny and simple that all the answers, they boil down to who you are. Because that is what really exists, you see. You asked me what is will, what is this world, whether it's deterministic, and what did it boil down to? You. You are that. You see. Infinite sea of potential that is witnessing its potential in different forms. Done.
That's why I think especially in the Western world, it's everywhere. If everyone used this, there'd be no jealousy, blah, 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 nothing in the way of creation. I want my surrounding area just as a personal blah 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 blah. Maybe it's divine, I don't know, but as to be like 17th century Florence, you know, like Leonardo da Vinci. Everyone was creating, because now there's no emotional blockage. Like, I want everyone to have their own TV show like this, you know, just like because we can, you know, and it's fun. I mean, obviously, I'm not like, oh, let's do it. Like, I'll come around your house and kill you if you don't. But like, I don't know. But yeah, just like if you're in, like, if you got a roof over your head and you got food in the fridge, and you know, there's anger to these people who aren't happy, and come on, guys, you know, let's get it together. But yeah, it's also anger of my own self where I'm like, dude, what am I angry about? What am I blah 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 blah? Obviously, there's no duality at all. So yeah. So if someone comes to my thing and my seminar and they're like, my wife's left me, who are you? Is one going to go to? You know, who is your wife left? You know, yeah, it's like, and then so yeah, there's nothing more to say really, is there? Is there?
Well, these questions, they come from the ignorance of separation. Like, I'm separate, my wife is separate, my neighbor is separate, and the other country is separate, which I'm going to, you know, rob and kill, bomb out of existence. So most of the questions that people ask come from the ignorance of separation. We see everything is separate from myself, and that causes this kind of suffering, as well as it causes suffering for others also, which are not separate. So ultimately, it is suffering to myself, isn't it? I am the one who is causing suffering to myself. So this can be solved totally by asking this question. Tell me, where is the separation? Where is the separation between you and your wife who left you? Did she join you in the first place? That is, you know, that should be eye-opening for such people. But normally, nobody has this kind of what do you call capability. They are not ready to accept this non-separation. So we take them through a garden path, kind of garden walled and thing which we call a spiritual path. And now they slowly, gradually, their mind is prepared so that they can let go of separation finally. And once the separation is dropped, then all the questions are dropped. Then there are no questions left after that. There is silence. The mind is silent now. So we do this on the path of knowledge, by giving you the knowledge of what these things are. What is your wife? Look at your wife. What is the difference between a tomato and your wife? I'm not talking about the shape. But they are objects, isn't it? They're objects. Now, a tomato is same as the consciousness of tomato. The tomato does not exist without being perceived by a conscious being. So ultimately, the objects are consciousness. Consciousness of objects is consciousness. What is consciousness? It is the I. You can call it I. I am the consciousness. So ultimately, your wife is you. Why don't you see this? It appears as a separate object, but no, it does not appear apart from you. It's not possible for there to be a wife. And she was not your wife. She was always you. The form separated, so what? They do separate. You cannot stop it.
People don't cry when they take a poop. Yet something of yourself is separating from you, apparently. And also when you cut your fingernails. Come on, man.
Yeah. So that is funny thing, isn't it? I'm going to die. I'm going to die. No, you're not going to die. This thing does not actually exist. It is changing form. So give up this idea of death also. And then what remains? You alone remain as everything. Now it is paradoxical. Nothing remains in the end, but everything is as it is. And that is kind of, you can say, maturation of the mind. This is called a mature person. I have seen people are like babies here in this world.
Mm.
They are like tiny infants. They don't know much. They cry when their toys are taken away.
Yeah.
They
I've
hit when you do something stupid, and so on. It's kind of a miserable situation here. And that all is because nobody knows their essence.
That's what I'm gonna do in my lifetime. So fucking subscribe, everybody. You know, if it matters. So yeah, I've written a lot about the psychological maturation. You know, because I've noticed that most people are psychologically immature. So yeah,
That is a good word. There is psychological immaturity. That's a good word.
yeah,
You here call it as spiritual immaturity because we think that psychology extends only to one lifetime, from birth to death,
yeah,
you see. But spirituality, it extends to many, many lifetimes. So you must have heard about these spiritually matured people who take birth sometimes. They're also called, what do you call them? Indigo children, something like
oh
this.
yeah, indigo,
So they have a lot of practice behind them, but we do not limit it to only this mind. It is not limited to this mind. It's not limited to psychology only. Although the word psychology is connected to spirit only. The psyche means spirit only. Now it has degraded, the psychology has been degraded into behavior studies, which is
mm.
unfortunate. Psychology must study the psyche. It's not about this body and this brain, you see, not neuro. It has been kind of demoted into just like other objective sciences. It is not like this. So I prefer the word spiritual maturity. So nobody has the spiritual maturity. Do you think these people who are governing the entire countries or running a big army, they can invade entire countries and kill many, many people? Do you think they're idiots? No, they're very smart. They're very, very cunning people, but zero as far as spiritual knowledge is concerned. There is intelligence, but there is no wisdom. They know how to launch a nuclear missile, but it takes knowledge of the whole world to create such a thing. But there is absolute zero knowledge about whether I should do it or not. It
Yeah,
is like, okay, I got a call from president. Oh, press the red button now, and that is that's what they think is maturity, which is unfortunate.
yeah. uh, yeah. I'll tell you a story of deja vu I had the other day. I had deja vu when I was at work experience sorting out some birthday cards and things. And then I realized, it's because I had a realization of infinite time. It felt like I was in that moment forever for about 2 seconds. I felt like this is literally all there's ever been, you know, looking down at the ground, piles of cards around.
So
So,
you can see the awareness is working here. It is changing the mind, isn't it? So
yeah,
there will be a time when the entire life becomes like a deja vu. Oh, it has happened so many times now. So don't worry, this has happened so many times already. We are not aware of it. That's all.
yeah. Okay, it's been a great chat, a great chat, and I think I'll keep this formula. We'll keep this going, And eventually people will catch on to the fact that we're answering other people's questions, and then they will send their own, which will be very welcomed. Okay, so thank you very much, Tarun, for appearing on the podcast.
Thank you very
Bye.
much, and I'll see you very soon.